Okay, so our group consists with 5 members, which is the first one, Muhammad.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Raja Nur Izzatil binti Raja Anwar. My matric number is 1202403 and I will present for the topic of interest. What is the definition of interest? Interest is defined as a composition given by a financial institution such as bank to a borrower. In other words, money earned when money is invested. Interest also can be defined as charge incurred when a loan or credit is obtained. For example, like we make a loan to a bank. Interest is divided into two. The first one is simple interest and the second one is compound interest. For the first one is simple interest. What is mean by simple interest? Calculating the interest on a loan using simple interest is quick and simple. Simple interest is calculated by dividing the principal by the daily interest rate and the number of days between installment. The formula for simple interest is I equal to PRT. I is interest, while P is principal, R is rate, and T stands for time. Okay, next, let's look at example of simple interest. The question is RM2000 is invested at 2 years bank earning a simple interest rate of 8% per year. Determine the simple interest earned. Okay, for the solution, P is RM2000, R is 8% or equal to 0.08, while T is 2. So when we comment the formula I equal to PRT, we will get RM2000 multiplied by 0.08 multiplied by 2. And the final answer, we will get RM320 ringgit. The second types of interest is compound interest. So what is mean by compound interest? Compound interest is the interest on a loan or deposit that is calculated using both the initial principal and the accrued interest from prior periods is known as compound interest or compounding interest. Simple interest, which is calculated simply on the main amount, grows a sum more slowly than compound interest, which is often referred to as interest on interest. So let's look at compound interest formula. The formula is A equal to P multiple bracket 1 plus R divide N bracket close square NT. Next, let's look one by one of compound interest formula. A equal to P multiple bracket 1 plus R divide N bracket close square NT. A is measured value while P is principal, R is rate, N is the number of times the compound interest in a year, and T is time. Next, let's look at compound interest example. The question is, if an amount of RM5000 is deposited into savings account at an annual interest rate of 5% compounded monthly, the value of the investment after 10 years can be calculated as follows. So for the solution, P is 5,000 ringgit. R is 5% or equal to 0.05, while N is 12 and T is 10. So, if we plug those figures into the formula, we get the following. That is, A equal to 5,000 multiple 1 plus 0.05 divide 12 and 12 multiple 10. So, the answer we will get 8235.05. So the investment balance after 10 years is RM 8,235 ringgit and 5 cent.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nurman. So first of all, what is present value? Okay, so firstly, present value is the current value of a future sum of money or stream of cash flows given a specified rate of return. Future cash flows are discounted at the discount rate, and the higher the discount rate, the lower the present value of the future cash flows. Other than that, present value is the concept that states an amount of money today is worth more than that same amount in the future. In other words, money received in the future is not worth as much as an equal amount received today. Okay, so as you can see, this is the formula for present value. So the formula is PV equal FV1 divided by open bracket 1 plus R close bracket N square N. Okay, so for your information, PV stand for present value, which is the formula for present value. FV stand for future value. R stand for rate of return, and the last one, N stand for number of periods. Okay, next, let's see the examples for present value. Okay, so example 1, Mr. X wants $10,000 after 3 years. The interest rate available on a specific investment which he is interested in is 4% per annum. So, how much he should invest today to receive the desired amount? So the right one is the solution for this problem. So the first thing you need to do is you must identify the future value, the interest rate, which is we also know as R in the formula. And the last one we need to know is period of this problem. Okay, so as you can see, the future value of this problem is $10,000. The interest rate is 4% and the period of this problem is 3, which is 3 years. So you need to place it into the formula, and lastly, you can get the answer. Present value is 8,889 and $69. Okay, next, this is the continuous for examples for present value. Okay, example 2. Mr. A has $100,000 in hand from his savings. He wants $200,000 after 10 years. So, what he need to do? What we need to do? Okay, so first of all, same step with example 1. We need to identify what is future value, what is the rate, and what is the period. After that, we need to place it into the formula, and then the last answer you can get present value 134,330 and $63 as the answer. And next, we move on to net present value. So what is the net present value? Okay, so net present value is the difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows over a period of time. So, net present value is used in capital budgeting and investment planning to analyze the profitability of a projected investment or project. Okay, so net present value is the result of calculations used to find today's value of a future stream of payments. Okay, so the right one, you can see the formula. So this is the formula, and for your information, RT stands for net cash inflow outflows during a single period. I stand for discount rate or return that could be earned in alternatives investments. And the last one, R stand for number of timer periods. Okay, so this is the last slide for me. Okay, so as you can see, a friend needs $500 now and will pay you back $570 in a year. So, is that a good investment when you can get 10% elsewhere? Okay, so first thing first, you need to know is your money out $500 now. So that means you invested $500 now, and so the present value is negative $500. Okay, so next your money in, which is you can get your money back for the next year, which is the value is $570. So it means the present value is equal with $570 divided by open bracket 1 plus 0.10 close bracket and square 1 equal with $570 divided by 1.10 equal $518.18. So it is the to the nearest cent. Okay, so the lastly, the net amount is net present value, which is $518.18 minus with $500 and the equal with you can get $18. Okay, so at 10% interest, the investment is worth $18. Okay, so in other words, it is $18 better than a 10% investment in today's money. So as the conclusion, it is a good investment for you. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Kistina binti Muhammad Zulkifli and my metric number is 1202401. The topic of my presentation is the future value. First of all, what is future value? Future value refers to a method of calculating how much the present value of an asset or cash will be worth at a specific time in the future. In addition, future value is an important calculation because it tells investors and individuals how much an investment made today will be worth in the future. Knowing the future value enables investors to make sound investment decisions based on their anticipated needs. There are a few different versions of the future value formula, but at its most basic, the equation looks like this. The future value of the investment, FV, is equal to the present value, PV, multiplied by 1 plus interest rate per period raised to the number of time periods. The interest rate is either denoted using I or R. Also, in the future value formula, N stands for the number of interest compounding periods that occur during a specified time period. For instance, if you are calculating an investment's worth after 5 years, with interest on the investment is compounded annually, N would be 5 in the equation. There are two ways of calculating future value, which are simple interest, or the interest added to the principal balance, and compound interest, or the interest earned on interest. Simple interest is always based on the present value, whereas compound interest means that the present value grows exponentially each year. Therefore, the future value formula changes slightly depending on which calculation is carried out. Next, compound interest versus simple interest. With compound interest, an asset earns interest on both the initial deposit and the interest that accrues each year. In other words, you earn interest on your interest. Let's say Bob invests RM1,000 today with an interest rate of 10%. After 5 years, how much his investment will be worth? So the calculation looks like this. FV is equal to 1,000 times with 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 5, and the answer we will get is 1610.51. However, with simple interest, an investment accrues interest based solely on the initial investment amount. The interest that adds up as the years pass comes from only your principal amount, not the interest earned on that principal. So let's say Bob invests RM1000 for 5 years with an interest rate of 10%. The future value would be FV is equal to 1000 times with 1 plus 0.1 multiplied by 5, and the answer is 1500. Also, do not forget to make sure to convert the interest rate from a percentage like 8% to a decimal like 0.08. The following section presents different examples related to calculating future values based on simple interest and compound interest. Example 1. Calculate the future value using simple interest. What is the future value of RM1000 invested today in 5 years, assuming a 6% simple annual interest rate? For the solution, the future value will be calculated using the simple interest rate. FV is equal to 1000 times with 1 plus 0.06 multiplied by 5. The answer is 1300. Hence, with a simple interest rate, your RM1000 investment has a future value of RM1300. Example 2. Calculate future value using compound interest. A bank offers a compounded interest rate of 7% annually. An investor wants to invest RM1000 today. What will be the value of the investment in 9 years? So, to calculate the value of the investment in the future value formula using a compound interest should be used. Hence, the future value FV is equal to 1000 times with 1 plus 0.07 to the power of 9. The answer is 1838.46. Therefore, after running the numbers, the investor will find his investment's future value after 9 years is RM1838.46. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Amisha binti Muhammad Saidi. My matric number is 1202390. So, today I'm going to present about the annuity. Okay, firstly we're going into the introduction of annuity. Annuity is a series of mutually equal payment made at mutually equal interval of time. So there are many examples of annuity. 3 of them are shop rentals, insurance policy premium, and installment payments. So in this topic, we're going to highlighting about the ordinary certain where payments are made at the end of each payment period or of the same interval. Okay, next, the number of payment, which is n. So the number of payment can be defined as the number of annuity payment, which is the number of compounding periods. In this number of payment, you can find through multiply how many years will be paid, which is T, with how many times per year will be paid, which is M. So this is the formula to find the N, the number of payment, which is N equal to T multiplied with M. T is the how many years will be paid. M is the how many times per year will be paid. So at the right slide, you can see the formula. If there is for example, that if there is question how to find R will be explained at the next slide. How to find I is in the interest rate, which will be given in the question, which interest rate will be divided by interest period. The interest period is just the same with M. M is the how many times per year will be paid. At the definition above. So I, which is interest period, can also be put as M, which is how many times per year we paid. Okay, next we will be going into the periodic payment, which is R. So what is the periodic payment? So the periodic payments mean number of annuity payment, which we will also can be called as the number of compounding periods. So in this periodic payment R, at the right side you can see the formula for the future value and present value. The Sn equal to R, the above one is the formula for the future value, while the below one, which is An equal to R, is the formula for the present value. So at the left slide, you can see another formula to find R. So if there is any question in the exam ask you to find the periodic payment, or we can call it as R, you can just substitute to find the R. Use the formula at the next slide. Depend on which one, whether the question want the future value or the present value. So that's all. Okay, next going into the example to find the periodic payment, which is the R. So the question is, in discharging a debt of 19,000 with interest rate of 7% per year compounded quarterly, Amin agrees to make equal payments every 3 months. The first due in 3 months and the last due in 8 years. Find the value of this equal payment. So firstly, you're going to find the key of every present value, the period. So we start with find the present value. The present value is here is the 19,000 ringgit. Then K is equal to the interest rate, which is 7%, which we already um, divide it with 100, then it becomes 0.07. So M here is from the compounded frequency. So in this question it's being called as compounded quarterly. 10 we put it as 4. 10 we have to find the I here is interest rate. So to find interest rate, we have to divide 0.07 divide with 4, then it will become 0.0175. So with this all informations that we have right here, we can finally find the R, which we call also as periodic payment. So the periodic payment is we just use the formula that I have been told to you before at the previous slide, which is R equal to the substitute one, R equal to 19,000, which is present value, multiply with divide with 1 minus 1 divided by 0.0175 and multiply with the power of negative 32. 10 divided with the full answer is 0.0175. Then we will get the equal payment, which is 718 ringgit at 3 ringgit 48 cents. Okay, next we're going into the future value of ordinary annuity certain. So what is the future value of ordinary annuity certain? It means the sum of all future value of the periodic payment. So at the right slide you can see that is the formula for the on how to calculate the future value of the annuity at the end of investment period is given. So here future value to find the future value, which is S, is equal to R in bracket 1 plus interest rate multiplied with N minus with 1, then the answer for the all will be divided with the I. And here we will get when M will multiply with T, while I here to find it comes from the R divided with M. So R here means the periodic payment. I is the interest rate per interest period, while N is the term of investment. Alright, let's see closely this formula for the future value of ordinary annuity certain. So the expression S in I is the future value of annuity of 1 per payment for n intervals. It can be read as S angle n at I, and its value can be found for certain I and n in the tables. So next, this is an example for the future value of ordinary annuity certain. So the question here is 100 ringgit is deposited every month for 2 years 7 months at 12% compounded monthly. So what is the future value of this annuity at the end of the investment? So you can see at the solution below. First of all, we need to find the R, we need to find the R, we need to find the period payment, we need to find the interest rate. So here is the solution. R, we get it from the periodic payment 100 ringgit. Then R is from 12%, M is 12. Then T, we get it from 2 years 7 months. We convert it to into 2, 7 per 12, then we add it comes 31 over 12. Then interest rate we just divide R with M, then it will become 1%. For the N we just need to multiply M with the T, so we get 31. So with all this information, we just put it based on the formula of the future value that I've been taught you at the previous slide, which is it will become when it will based in the when it will put in the formula, it will become S equal to 100 in bracket 1 plus 0.01 multiply with in the power of 31, then minus with 1, then it all the answer for that will be divided with 0.01, then the future value we will get 3,613 ringgit 27 cents. Alright, our last topic is the present value of ordinary annuity certain. So what is the present value of ordinary annuity certain? It can be defined as the sum of all present value of the periodic payment. So this is the formula for the present value, which is A equal to R 10 in bracket 1 minus 1 plus interest rate multiply is the power negative n, 10 divide it with I, and we will get when we multiply m with t, then I we will get when we divide it with r and m. So R here means predict payment, I here is interest rate per interest period, and N is the term of investment. Okay, this is our last slide for annuity, which is the example for the present value of ordinary annuities return. So the question sounds like this. Lisa has to pay 300 ringgit every month for 26 months to settle a loan at 12% compounded monthly. So the first question, they want what is the original value of the loan. The second one, what is the total interest that she has to pay. So first of all, like usual, we need to find the predict payment, find the interest rate, so and many more. So the solution here, the below you can see the predict payment is 300 ringgit R, then R here is 12%, M is 12, T is 2, and I interest rate is from the formula R divide with M, then it will become 1%. Then for the formula of N, we get it from the M multiply with T, so we get 24. So for the first question, what is the original value of the loan? So use the formula of the present value that I have taught you before in the previous slide. The formula for present value, when we already put it into by the formula, then we will get the present value equal to 300 in bracket 1 minus 1 plus 0.01 multiply with the power of negative 24, then divide this with the interest period with 0.01. So the total will become 6,373 ringgit 2 cents. So next we get into the second question. They want the total interest that she has to pay. So here the in the formula that have used here is interest as interest equal to R multiply with N, then just minus with the present value that we get before in the first question. So here is the solution. Interest equal to 300 multiply with 24, then minus with 6,373 ringgit 2 cents. Then we will get the interest that she has to pay, which is 826 ringgit and 98 cents. Okay, that's all.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Sufyan bin Shamsuri. My matric number is 1202377. What is amortization? Amortization is an accounting technique used to periodically lower the book value of a loan or an intangible asset over a set period of time. Amortization refers to two situations. The first situation is amortization used in the process of paying off debt through regular principal and interest payment over time. Then the second situation is amortization spreading out capital expenses related to intangible assets over a specific duration. Okay, we move on. So this is formula to calculate amortization. Look at the right side. Okay. So at the bottom one is formula to calculate the AMI amount, and the middle one is formula to get interest. This is example question for amortization and how we calculate the amortization using formula. Okay, the question is, a salaried person took a home loan from a bank of $100,000 at the rate of interest of 10% for a period of 20 years. Now let's calculate the EMI amount and interest component paid to the bank. P for amount principal, which is $100,000. R is rate of interest 10%. T is term of year, that is 20 years, and we put 12 months for 1 year. Using the formula to calculate amount. Using the formula to calculate amount of principal, first we convert 10% to 0.1. Okay, EMI amount equals to 0.1 times 100,000. We solve 1 plus 0.1 divided by 12. Then 1 will minus 1.0083. Then 12 times with 1.0083. After that, times with power of negative 12 times with 20. So the total is 965.0216. For the interest, N times EMI amount times term of year, then minus to amount principal. 12 times 965.0216 times 20, then minus with 100,000. So we get the total interest $131,605.2.
So that's all from us. Thank you very much for listening.